The opening scene ends basically with DaoDu becoming UnDaoDu and slaying his 19 brothers and sister. After they just defeat the other two. And Shadu, right? The priestess, right? And she's ancient. And she's the daughters, these are the daughters of her ancestors think of it, Eve. They brought humanity from the islands of Atlantis, which is Atlantis off the coast of Africa, which sank not because it sank, but because of climate change. All the ice melting from Europe sank the islands, and they came. And they're known as the Ouroboros clan, right? They're the Homo sapiens. And this scene opens with Shigamathra. She's in the water, and she's playing, and you see her, there's dolphins swimming around her, and she's giggling. And on the shore is the huge Alpha, her mother, Alpha and the Omega, right? She's the Alpha and the Omega at this time, but her daughter is destined to be the Omega. Now her mother knows that her time, and the Sharu, the ancient mammoths of the Shah mammoths, the awoken ones, right? The awoken ones. These were the first enlightened creatures on the planet Earth, before apes, before it was the mammoth, and they were the guardians of all the planet, and they were the dispute, and they set the territories and everything else. They created the ancient paths all around the planet, the Silk Road, the Spice Road. All those were they were ancient roads by the mammoths. The mammoths basically carved them out of the mountains, walking back and forth thousands of years before man ever came. Tens of thousands of years. All of the paths, all of the things were basically established by the mammoths, who knew the known world, who traveled all the way, knew the path to the Americas. And Shigamathra, her mother called the Omega. Omega, she says, come on, you have a lot to learn. You must do your studies. I don't want to study. I want to be a dolphin. As she wraps her trunk around, and she giggles as the dolphin, with its silky smooth skin, kind of goes through her trunk and makes her laugh. And she dipped her look underwater and look at these crazy alien creatures. Why don't they have hair, Mama? Shigamathra, they don't need hair. They live in the water. The Ouroboros also lived in the water once a long time ago. That's why they don't have hair. I don't know why you don't just stamp out the Ouroboros, because stamping out doesn't always work. As her mind goes back to her Shigamathra's father, who went to stamp out the Ouroboros when they arrived. And they lived thousands and thousands of years, these mammoths. And when the Ouroboros came, the three of the strongest, biggest bull elephants, which was the father of Shigamathra, or the father's father, the grandfather, father, right? When I say father, ancestor, the ancestor of her fathers, and went to slay, and they were defeated, because the Ouroboros, the clan, had the javelin, a fishing weapon that was lethal, which would become even more lethal with the bone handle, which would be created by Vital. So this opening scene has her playing in the water and everything else. Finally says, come on, Shigamathra, you have to come out. I says, well, I don't understand. You're the biggest and most powerful of all creatures on land. You should be able to stomp it out. Well, look, you see the termite mound there? Yes, Mama, I see that termite mound. I'll tell you what, Shigamathra. If you can destroy the termite mound and all the termites, then I will go and destroy the Ouroboros. Really? Oh, cool, I can do that. She runs over and she starts stomping on it. There! And she knocks it down, flattens it. And she goes, Mom, I've done it. Really? She comes over and she looks down. Look carefully, Shigamathra. The termites are still there. And I get them. And, and her mother goes and sits by the water, and she stomps away, and she's so stubborn, and she stamps and stomps and stomps, and she just can't kill them. She's always looking. Next thing she realizes, dark. The stars are up. She'd been so obsessed, and the moon was up, that she lost track of the time. It's pitch dark. She all of a sudden gets really scared, and she looks around. And there's her mother, big, and her mother, looks up, and oh, mama, I can't do it. Some things you simply can't stomp out, Shigamathra. And at that moment, the Ouroboros appear. They had heard the activity. They had secretly surrounded, and her mother stands up as they see the torch bear, and you see Shadu. She's younger than this, younger, and she, as her warriors around, they got the spears that her mother recognizes that were the slayers, and all she can think about is how is Shigamathra going to live. She knows them. She knows they're smart. They will anticipate her running. There will be people there. They're all showing there, but she knows where there are none, there will be, right? And she's, and she hoots and puts out alarms, and there's another sounding alarm as the other mammoths are moving away, as she sends them away. And Shigamathra, you must leave. Where? He said, and she looks around, and she grabs Shigamathra, wraps her trunk around her, and she just whips around and slings her as hard as she can into the ocean. And you see Shigamathra flying in the air, right, as javelins are flying as they're moving in, right? And she just throws her as far as she can, way out there, into the water. And as Shigamathra is spinning, she's seeing the Ouroboros moving into her mother, and the spears piercing, and her mother, tossing in fighting, right? And every time she kind of flips around, she sees another sign of them closer in, and all of a sudden another unit that were ready to, and her running, right? She runs, and all of a sudden another unit comes up with the spears, and her mother is slain as she lands into the water, into the darkness, right? And she's looking up, and in the distance she sees, the last screams of her mother as a dolphin pops up by her and looks, and she wraps around, and the dolphin takes her away. And that's the end of that scene.